Good afternoon and good evening as we are now to the last final of the 2018 winter season, a culmination of God knows how many teams and how many games we have to go through from 6D up to Division 1, but we are here. The two best teams in Division 1, D-Boys, finest, another winter final. Here we come, gentlemen. We talk about D-Boys, the sense of aura, perhaps that they can probably turn this thing upside down and maybe win a Div 1 winter title, or the funnest, the much whispers that this could be it for them today. I start with you, Simon Dagenet. You were flip-flopping with your pick.
Sounds like me.
Which is no surprise.
No surprise.
But what's going through the minds of first the finest playing against the D-Boys?
So finest knows what works against D-Boys. They know what to do, what not to do. They're a very, very strong team altogether. They flipped the switch in the playoffs. They're a monster team when it comes to the finals. I don't remember the last time the finest lost in the finals. I think it was like 2008.
No, they lost in spring 2016 to the winter season.
Yeah.
Their last winter loss was in 2008 winter. Yes,
against the Hurricanes. It was
Hurricanes.
10 years ago.
Yes,
that's insane. Now the one thing is we've talked about D-Boys a lot, saying they're a good team able to compete, but I think this year they have a different mentality. They don't have the mentality that we'll beat them on athleticism. We need a game plan because we won't just beat finest because we're better than them.
So first of all, Mokan, I want to congratulate you on time travel. You led the show with good afternoon and good evening. So you've been in 2 times at once.
Yes, I have.
Very impressive, very impressive. But I think that's what D-Boys will need to do to have a chance at this game. I spoke to Kevin Wyatt at the field the other day. He said, I noticed a couple of things about D-Boys, and I think that he has it in his mind. He knows exactly what to do to beat them coming into this game.
So you're saying Wyatt said it's a done deal?
Yep. And I've rarely seen him that confident about playing.
He rarely says things like that. Like I'm confident we'll win, but he never says it's a done deal.
He seemed like to him it wouldn't even be a game.
Okay. And here we go, underway. The top defense in Div 1, D-Boys, and they're on offense. Marco Mastriotra flag on play, deep ball going. Kareem Bennett could not extend his arms, and that'll be a second down penalty. The penalty call coming up here. But if my eyes might be deceiving me, but I do not see Keyshawn Thompson on the sidelines or on the football field.
I don't see him neither. That's a very surprising factor. Another thing, Marco Mastriotra just finished playing the game. They just played for Division 2 with Clockwork. Now, does that help D-Boys or does that hurt D-Boys?
So in years past, I would have said that losing a finals game would have gotten in Marco Mastriotra's head. Marco Mastriotra's become much more of a laid-back person in his later years in FPF, and he's matured a great deal. I don't think it'll affect him the way it has in previous seasons. But what we did see in that game, Simon, was he wasn't as sharp in Division 2, and now after this rusher interference, they're back 5 yards.
So they're backed into their end zone almost as Marco Mastriotra is about 3 yards deep. Keyshawn Thompson now arriving a little bit late. Second play over the middle. Como through his hands, incomplete. And you can see the frustration starting to boil for Marco Mastriotra's offense.
I take back everything I just said.
And what could have been a very good play for D-Boys to kind of set up after the penalty ended up in being a overthrown ball. Marco Mastriotra once again looks a bit out of sync. This could really hurt D-Boys if you can go toe-to-toe with Kevin Wyatt.
2022 left here, guys. And how important is this first series for D-Boys to set the tone? Because they vibe off of excitement.
Well, they're going to have to score every drive. They'll will beat the finest, and in that way, it's as important as every other drive.
Como up in the air on the left side, and Jermaine Lewis Parrish with the tackle will be third down coming up, and about 6 to go.
Antonio Como with a big catch, sort of his security blanket when he's playing with D-Boys. I wouldn't agree that saying that D-Boys need to score every single drive. I think the team is built around their defense, and they will stop Kevin Wyatt at some point in time. He won't score every single drive. We've seen it the last time they played each other in the finals. There was a lot of interceptions that surprised everybody. I think it's going to be one of those games that might not be perfect, but they do need to score often.
Theo J, the right wide out. Mastriotra going to just outstretching his arms, and he's tackled right away. It'll be fourth down coming up. Kareem Bennett with the big play. It'll be fourth and about 2 coming up for this D-Boys offense.
That looks like a comfortable position if you're the D-Boys offense, coming off at the 1st and 10, 1st and 15 into a 2nd and 15. Now you're at a 4th and 2-ish. It's a comfortable position. You know, you're not looking at the big gains. There's a lot. Your playbook's wide open, And as an offense, I wouldn't be too worried about this one.
And Marco Masiocha looking to Theo Gea when he's in trouble. Great play there by the two of them.
19 to go. Here is Masiocha's short slant left, caught by Quay Johnson as he will hip his way through around his coach, actually, in Jermaine Lewis Parrish. And it'll be a 1st and 10 for the D-Boys offense.
He's been a very good addition. A nice new player to Division 1, plays in Division 2. Quay Johnson has been a revelation for D-Boys, mostly defensively. He's not necessarily – he's a good defensive player, but his impact on D-Boys has been mostly offensive, and it's good to see that he could be that 5th guy for them.
Well, they talked about losing McLaren, but adding 2 players to the roster in this season.
18:25 left. Jamal Giddens, the left slot back. Looking to Giddens, caught through a triangle of finest players. And again, Lewis Parrish with the tackle with 18:15 left.
So adding Jordan Alexi and adding Quay Johnson, yes, you lose the top overall talent and that you have in Jordan McLaren. However, what you do gain is a bit of depth and 2 guys who are true athletes and game breakers on your team.
Yeah, to your point, you lose a special player in Jordan McLaren, but you gain 2 different players that are also very, very talented and high-end players that are just waiting for an opportunity to make their point.
Millar the rusher with 11 sacks, quick pass, and through the outstretched right hand of Jamal Giddens will be 3rd down, coming up for the D-Boys offense with 17:35 left.
Not entirely a comfortable spot. It almost seems like it's a opportunity for Marco Masiocha to take a shot at the end zone, to still have that 4th down where he can look to get that 1st down. Maybe look to see if Finest defense can be a little too aggressive.
But it was a safe play regardless, right?
Yes, on that play, yes.
Looking left again, Masiocha pumping over the middle, caught by Como. Bordage with the tackle, and it'll be enough for a 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal once again for the D-Boys.
That's a key play by Marco Masiocha. Sort of pump fake that ball, knowing the rusher would have jumped at, and then he had that window to hit a snapper underneath for the 1st down. It's a very impressive play as a quarterback, because a lot of people won't be able to make that second read and make that pump fake.
And the ability to throw from different platforms and different arm angles is something that Marco Masiocha excels at a great deal. 5
minutes has been gobbled up so far in this drive as we approach 16:45 left in this first half. Jordan Alexi, the right slot back. He's gone left all the time. He's going left again. And Quay Johnson is forced out, and he actually brought himself out at the 1-yard line.
His momentum carried him out of the end zone, actually. When he caught the ball, he was leaning outside of the end zone, and he fell, what our referee is saying, in the 1.
And that's one of the throws that Marco Masiocha really excels at, is that hard, low throw to the front corner of the
on
end
a
zone.
comeback like that. It's his bread and butter. We've seen in Division 2 prior to this. It's a very, very difficult route to cover. Yeah,
it's definitely hard to defend.
6 minutes has elapsed on this opening drive. And again, they've really milked the clock in their favor. And going left, Masiocha looking for the back zone. Short side, incomplete for Jamal Giddens. And it'll be 3rd and goal coming up.
Giddens looking for a flag on that one, not getting it. Defender just broke hard on it.
Still a weird. I'd say that's a weird drop by Jamal Giddens. Usually he excels at those kind of plays. There was still well-defended play by Olivier Bordage, who was right there next to Jamal Giddens. He couldn't make a play on the ball, but he made a play on the guy to sort of disrupt the connection, and it ended up being a drop.
15:34 left, 3rd and goal. Right now it has been a stall for the D-Boys offense at the 1. Will they go right? And he goes left again. Looking, pumping, picked up by Garrett Taylor.
It was a beautiful interception by Garrett Taylor. Read the play the whole way, was right there. The fact that he got the pick instead of a bat down makes it, instead of Kevin Wyatt doesn't have the ball at the 1, he has the ball at the 10 now. And that's a huge game changer for them.
And I like the falling grenade toss.
And here's a replay.
Taylor celebration.
Looking for Quay Johnson, who was actually out of bounds initially.
Quay Johnson was asking for the ball in the back of the end zone, and the sort of delay between asking for a ball and actually getting it ended up being on Garrett Taylor's benefit.
It looked like he had Jamal Giddens as the route broke down late, but by the time Marco Masiocha came back to him, it was too late.
14:35 left. Wyeth now, first drive. Call back Ken Moore from the right slot. Up ahead, he gallops, and he will be tackled just before or at the 1st down bag. He'll be short by a yard now officially, or now he'll be marked off with the 1st down.
Ken Moore is probably one of the best receivers in Division 1, although he had a very, very quiet season. He wasn't really used as much as he usually is, but to see a guy on a team, to see Akin Moore on the team not being the number 1 receiver is ludicrous. And
it's just that the finest team over the years has improved, and young guys have come up, and guys like Pat Jerome have been added to the ranks. It makes it more difficult to shine.
Guillaume Ward, Adam Bailey.
Absolutely.
All a bunch of very talented players.
Only 19 catches this year during the regular season for 203, and a first down with 13:50 left. Wyeth looking left. Wyeth pumping, going left corner. Jerome, and well defended by the D-boys, and that goes out of bounds to be 2nd and 10 coming up.
Very well defended pass by Marco Mastriota in the back of the end zone. It's if there's one thing he does really well, it's cover those corners. And Kevin Wyeth took a shot. He placed it really, really well. That makes it was either Pat Jerome or nobody.
Yeah.
And it's a safe shot, right? It's a first down. You could do pretty much whatever you want.
Marco Mastriota is a big, strong body. It's difficult to get around, and when the ball's in the air like that, he knows how to position himself where you won't have a clean catch. 13-13
left here. Simone Dagenet, PZ Delarizi. It's still donuts between D-Boys and Montreal's finest in the Div 1 final, the last of the 2 days of finals here from Brossard, Quebec. Pat Jerome, the left slot. Adam Bailey, the left wideout. He goes to the right side, caught by Ken Moria, second catch, and tackled by Jourdain Alexis. And that'll be short of a first down. He'll be tackled for a 5-yard gain.
Marco Mastriota still on the sidelines. Looks like he's trying to tie his shoes, sort of feel his ankles out. He's not playing safety at the moment for D-Boys. I was expecting Kevin Wyeth to sort of take a shot at that, kind of play that field, but he didn't. He went through with some safety on the sidelines, and now he's slowly moving the chains.
Tying one's shoes is something you learn in grade school, not D1, perhaps. That's a difficult
Fair.
Wyeth looking left. Now going to the right. Called by Guillaume Moore to his first catch. Tackled by Alexis. Guillaume Moore this year.
To play, though.
37 catches, and we'll see what this call is for who and against. And from the indication, this is going to, and you see Giolani really giving it to the finest huddle. And as Walter Berry and Steve Hodhod converse about what the call should be with 12:05 left.
I think it might be rush interference.
Marco Mastriota is back in the huddle, replaced Antonio Lyon at safety. The basic look of the D-Boys is back, essentially.
So this goes back by a few yards, and this goes against the finest. 11:48 left here. Are you guys surprised by the slow start, not the explosive fireworks we thought from the offenses that we have?
The only thing that surprises me is the first play for finest was in a 40 bomb to Adam Bailey. That's the only thing that usually they do, and it wasn't done so far.
They did take one deep shot in this drive, however.
11:28 left. We'll see if they go deep now. Wyeth going deep to the right and covered by Quade Johnson, intended for Aked Moore. 11:20 left. And now it is a 4th down, gentlemen. What do you do? Do you go for it? The Finest are notorious for going for it, even if it's 4th and 20.
This is one of the things where we talked about it all preseason, saying Jordan McLaren not on defense will hurt the D-Boys. But people seem to underestimate how good Jourdain Alexis is as a defensive player.
Well, he's just not one of the familiar names in Division 1.
He is a phenomenal tackle corner. He's one of the key pieces for Carabin, and he's been a monster in Division 1. He hasn't been tested so far. There's a reason for that.
Actually, your friend is brother Zachary, who played for the
Yeah, but Jourdain also good.
Also is a talented player.
Not like his sister. Wyeth looking left. He's sacked by Matt Kerouac.
What a beautiful sight by Matt Kerouac, who was sort of falling down and managed to get Kevin Wyeth on the last sort of bit that he had. He was falling down. He caught him as he slipped, and it was a beautiful sack by a very talented rusher.
We'll get a replay on this. Kevin Wyeth is complaining about something, that maybe there was a hold or some sort.
There appeared to be some congestion about 10, 15 yards downfield.
He was asking for a hold down the field on one of his receivers, and he's
Let's see from the replay now. So we're looking at it, and Wyeth is looking left, and he's saying a pick play? It's tough to...
His receiver kind of got jammed up a little bit.
Yeah, right there. It looks like the Lanning brother had infiltrated on one of the receivers. Here's Mastriota looking to the short right, caught this time by Antonio Lanning. His first side, he goes to the right, and it's a completion with 9:52 left.
And we saw it on the previous play, Matt Kerouac's ability and strength to be able to be falling, regain his footing, and still stay with Kevin Wyeth to get the sack.
This great stuff by D-Boys kind of negates the fact that they weren't able to score, and the interception by Garrett Taylor now basically means nothing. And it's like the game is a brand new game.
Let's keep in mind, the Finest's path to the final has been relatively easy. They haven't had a real game since week 10. And here's Mastriota rolling to the right. Deflected by Thompson into the hands of Antonio Lanning. 6-0 for the D-Boys.
This is another crazy scenario where you expect... We both know Keyshawn Thompson is not the kind of player who makes mistakes. Like if the ball touches his hand, that's a pick, and that could have been 6. And I think he wasn't really expecting the ball to go that way. He really puts his hand up sort of as a screen. And the slight deflect allowed Antonio Lanning to be at the right place at the right time.
Well, he was just trying to make a play on the ball and didn't have the ability to get both hands on it. Keyshawn Thompson deflecting it. 9 times out of 10, that goes out of bounds or falls to the turf, but this time it's caught for a touchdown.
8:48 left here, looking to go up by 7-0. And here's Masiocha looking to the left. He has an open, and Jamal Gittins right there. It's 7-0 lead for the D-Boys. 8:40 left in this first half. So they regain the loss turnover for points here, and now it's Finest's turn to perhaps come back and tie it up.
For Finest, it's as if the game just started.
It's a brand new game.
The first 2 drives didn't happen, so we'll see how they react at this point.
But there's only 8 minutes left in this half.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically burned 14 minutes of time for nothing.
Yeah, I would like to see them score quick, then the D-Boys have the possession, and that should give Finest enough time to have another drive to end the first half.
8:13 left here. And remember, we're talking about the D-Boys, one of the best defenses in Division 1, so they can definitely lock it up if need be. Wyeth looking over the middle, pumping, and that's deflected by Matt Kirak. Second down coming up here, and you wonder these long developing plays playing right into the hands of the D-Boys who can lock it up with their athletes.
This is one of the things you see from Division 1 rushers is there's 2 styles. One that you go after the quarterback and get the sacks and try to limit the time of possession. The other one is what Mark Kirak is sort of doing today is he knows he can't really get after White really that quickly because of quick release, so he's playing that lane and he's playing it well.
Wyeth looking left, short pass Larry Vieira, and he is brought down by Giolani, and that should be close to a first down. It'll be third down coming up. 31 officially.
We see the famed triple slants there. Brian Lariviere catching the ball, using his body. It's difficult to get around him. That's one of the things Wyeth had throughout his career in FPF. In Montreal's finest, one of these big body snappers who was just always safe every time you throw the ball to him.
Pat Jerome, the left slot back. He goes to the right side. Akem Moore caught, and up the field he goes. His third catch of the day, enough for a first down with 7:05 left.
Again, that slant from Akem Moore is almost impossible to cover. As soon as the wide receiver bails, the corner sort of needs to stick with him, and that opens up the lane for that pass.
Quay Johnson with the tackle.
And that's the thing. So being that they overload, Kevin Wyeth being able to precisely place the ball, to your point, Simon. It's him or the sideline, and it puts so much pressure on the cornerback to be able to stay with it.
Yeah.
6:41 left in this first half. Trips right for the first time today for the finest. Wyeth looking right. Jerome with the catch, tackled by Marco Masiocha.
It looked like they wanted to get Pat Jerome involved, and both times Kevin Wyeth looked to his left. Pat Jerome got caught up in some congestion on the left side, moved to the right side, get his hands on the ball in the first half.
It looked like a low snap that kind of sort of takes away that quick first read, but that deep hook is almost impossible to cover.
Absolutely. We'll see here now what they do just outside the goal line.
All fine. Quick pass to Brian Lariviere.
And
Tackled by
Lariviere is going to be close to a first down with 5:55 left.
So that was a great play by Finest to really go back to that quick offense, quick slant to Brian Lariviere, tackled by Giovanni Lani. The thing is, it's almost impossible to cover as you kind of have to trail that snapper, right? Mm-hmm. So if the ball is placed in front of the snapper, what do you want the defense to do? That guy in the middle of the field cannot be the one covering that pass. He needs help over top or next to him. And if you put 2 guys on the snapper, someone else is open.
And the pass release and power of Kevin Wyeth makes it difficult.
5:27 left. Wyeth looking left. Going and caught by Jerome. 7-6 lead with 5:20 to go.
You talked about getting Pat Jerome involved in this game. Of course, he is one of their best weapons offensively. He is a phenomenal player, and he's very difficult to cover. Mm-hmm. But I think that seeing how this game is ongoing, I don't think he's going to have that big of an impact. He might have key plays left and right. But as a whole, I think Pat Jerome might not be the most dominant player on the field today.
He's going to have a role, as you said, though, Simon, and already making his impact on this game.
Inside 4:55 left, and here is Wyeth looking to the left side, pumping, looking backside, and well defended by Jourdain Alexis with 4:45 left.
Great play by Jourdain Alexis to sort of recognize what the play was and manage to make a play on the ball. You have to be tall, you have to be athletic to make a play on that ball, and he managed to position himself really well to tip that ball away and allow D-Boys to be up by 1 after about 20 minutes in this game.
And some of the names in this game are fun to see. These 2 established teams taking chances on guys like Chris Miard for Finest, Jourdain Alexis of D-Boys. So awesome to see their imprint on this game.
Masiocha looking deep middle. And a crowd of players with Alexis and Gittes there with Brodage and Lewis Parrish there, but no one caught that ball.
It's good to see that. You know that on defense, everybody could play safety, everybody could play all positions, and it's tough to find a matchup that you really like across the board. I think Marco just wanted to test the defense, see who's dropping, what they're giving me, and it's a safe throw to make if you put it over the top that well. And it's a first down sort of discarded, but it also tells you sort of what the defense is doing.
Yeah, and it gives you look. He's putting it on the back line of the end zone, so there's not a lot of bad that can happen in that circumstance.
3:35 left. Masiocho looking to the left side, pumping over the middle. Como caught, and Thompson and Lewis Parrish in on the tackle.
Very good play by Antonio Como to recognize where the empty spot was and sat there. And then all Marco Masiocho had to do was sort of move to the side to open up the lane for him to pass to Antonio Como.
And that's one of the things Marco Masiocho doesn't get talked about often is the footwork and the ability to move the pocket slightly in this case, changing the throwing window, allowing him to have an open lane to throw to Antonio Como.
And right now, Theo Jeff, who's playing the right wideout, has yet to be targeted for one pass so far.
As
a catch, yes, on the fourth down.
Oh, that's correct. As Alex Dacco told me, he didn't get targeted. And here he is again, Green Bonnet on him, and that will be enough for a first down with 2:53 left.
You happy, Mo?
I am happy. Tell that to Eagle.
I think this shows more to the depth of how D-Boy's offense is working. Is if you don't have to key so much on Theo Ojeas as they used to in the past, it shows that their offense can still perform and still keep up with anybody without using their main guy. And when they need him, he's there, right?
2:32 left here. PC Delarizzi, Simon Dashry, Mocon is a 7-6 lead for the D-Boys over the finest. Chris Millard, we've yet to mention his name on the sack totals yet. And a quick pass caught by Quade Johnson through two players as Lewis Parrish again with another tackle as Garrett got beaten to the point of the catch.
Interesting play by D-Boys to sort of keep using those hooks that are so difficult to cover all things, considering how fast these receivers are.
Because you know that you can't just sell out and cover nothing but the hooks. So then it happens that you have a 2-on-1 situation, two receivers, one defender. Defenders make a choice. Marco Masiocho, smart throw, getting to the ball to the open guy.
You can't just jump those hooks so aggressively because if he fakes it and goes, you give up a touchdown.
Or if there's another route behind you that you don't see coming.
1:43 left as now they're at the first and goal mark. Again going to the left. Caught by Giddens short, and he's going to be pushed out by Keyshawn Thompson with 1:32 left.
D-Boys have a very good red zone offense. They've proven it time and time again. And so for them to be at this sort of range, it's a comfortable range for them. There's some teams that don't like to be in the red zone. They don't like to sort of go out at the 2, but this is not that type of offense.
Well, and part of it is the strength of Marco Masiocho's arm and his ability to throw the ball at that front cone. Do you think we'll see that
Zip it to the comeback? I think it's might not on display, but it's going to happen in this game again for sure.
Surprised that Finest have yet to call their timeouts. Maybe they do it now. Masiocho rolling to the right. Back end zone. Incomplete with 55 seconds left here. And, guys, we know the Finest MO. If you have to call a timeout, they like to preserve plays and get that extra possession before they get the ball in the second half.
I think they're confident that with this amount of time left on the clock, they know there you go.
Nope.
So
timeout Finest. All the things we're saying, not
went
true.
Down the toilet.
I think that with this amount of time, it varied on how D-Boys are performing. There's 3 plays there. They're on third down, so there's 2 plays left before. I think White wants to save at least 5 plays before the half. 3 or 4 is not ideal.
Yeah. So that if they given them 5 plays will allow them to have a play to eat up a chunk of yards and then still be able to run a decent offense.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, right?
Exactly.
42.7 left. Giddens, Johnson to the left. Como the snapper. Looking to the left slant. No, he goes to the right side. Rolling. Pressure from Millard. Short pass caught by Theo Jaya. Discussion. It is going to be discussed. Further elaborated. We're doing for supper afterwards. Hot and Jack, and now they'll stop play with 23 seconds left here, as though we might have replay on this, boys.
It was come back to the cone like we talked about. So,
but it was late though because Marco rolled out before doing it. It wasn't.
Well, it was a late developing route, but Marco kept it alive with his feet, and again the ability of Marco Masiocho to be able to throw.
Touchdown.
Touchdown is awarded. It looked to me as it was good. He had possession. His feet were dragging on the field. It was a remarkable play by Theo J, whose name we're yet. Mo wanted him to be more involved, and there you go.
referee Jack Nudie in the way. We can't really see where the feet came down, but it does look as though he was dragging them on that play. Yeah, if you see there, Simon, we said that it took a while for it to develop. We saw he went inside release, across the back, and then back to the cone. And it's a beautiful route by Theo J.
I think that might not have been the
intended route, yeah.
But to see that as Marco developed the play and rolled to the side, decided to go back to that cone and knew that if you start rolling my way, I'm going back to that cone and you hit me over the cone.
Yeah.
So it's one of those chemistry plays that you don't necessarily expect, but it's there when you need it.
And now it appears that we will have a challenge coming from the finest direction on this play here.
It's going to be tough because one of the best angles we have, the referee is blocking the vantage point.
The eagle eye now is probably the best.
The eagle eye is not as clear as we wish it would be, and we don't really see Teoja's feet, whether he's dragging them or not. So the call might stand simply due to the fact that we can't really replay them properly.
My initial reaction seeing the play, I thought it was a touchdown.
From a live standpoint, it looks like he might have been out, but if you slow it down, he has both feet in from our vantage point. So
yeah.
There's also Jordan XC proof to the fact that there's two lines dragging on the turf.
But we don't know where the lines were created and when the ball was caught.
That is true.
We have dragged his feet, caught the ball, fell out of bounds.
That is true. But that could also be his.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's not a way to rule a play.
But it's still there.
Okay. So we're looking at, of course, for what you have to identify for those watching at home is the black underpants that Theo J is wearing, which will give you a better landmark of where his feet are on the end zone. But do you think this is the right challenge, guys? It's still late in the first half. It's only a 1-score lead. It's not a 2-score lead that would have put them up.
Oh, it's third down. If they overturn this, D-boys are stuck in a 4th down situation with 6 plays left.
Confirmed.
Touchdown it is.
Touchdown. I'm not impressed. I was expecting this, but this puts D-boys in a very favorable position.
Yeah, that said, it also has the finals with 6 plays in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And they get the ball back in the second half, right?
Well, it could also be 5 plays, considering there's 16 limits.
So
the clock's continuing. My mistake. I thought
we wind
down. The clock
down.
Continuing, there's a chance they only give them 5 plays.
They will only get 5 plays. Yeah.
As we wind down now for this first half, looking for the 2-pointer. Mazziotra, right side, caught Giddens.
Great catch.
15-6.
This is a huge play because it puts them up by 2 scores instead of just 1. And there's virtually most likely impossible for Finest to actually go up before the halftime.
Yeah, and it's I think we'll see them use up the plays, march on the field. Don't forget, they get the ball back. So even if they end up to have 15-13, 15-14, it's not the end of the world because
it's what you want, really.
Yeah, they get the ball back, and it's 1 point, 2 point, 3 points in our game doesn't make a ton of difference at this stage in the game.
5 plays left. Wyeth looking short, caught by Adam Bailey, his first catch, and Theo Ajay, that is, will push him out, glide him out, and it will be 4 plays left, second down.
All smiles on the field as guys trying to sort of make a play on the ball, but again, if Finest would have scored on the very first, on this very play, they would have given D-boys 4 plays to sort of work with, right?
And right now, the D-boys look like the much more confident team. The Finest look like they're slightly jarred by the last few plays of what has gone against them. And with this being a 9-point gap, they will get the ball back in the second half. This is a critical play for this drive coming up here to get the first down and prolong it. Wyeth flicking left again, pumping. He's going to go right. Ward out of bounds, first down and more. And with that, they'll get 3 more plays left and perhaps 6 more points.
Kevin Wyeth a little more cautious this time with the McKilrack around. Looked left and then knew he had just a moment to get rid of the ball, and he did. But I like this because, again, with 5 plays and now 3 left, it gave the Finest, and it continues to give the Finest their entire playbook to their disposal.
Gilmore has been really involved on those short hooks underneath, sort of blanket possession player. But we all know how fast he is, how good he is at taking it over the top.
But that's why he gets open, because nobody wants to give him the deep pass, so they'll gladly give up the hook.
So that could be an interesting play for them to sort of try to use Gilmore as on a fly in the second half.
Will this be Pat Jerome's number called up? Looking to the left. Jerome opened the wheel. He'll go to the opposite side. Ward again. Had Wyeth held on for maybe a split second, he might have had Jerome down the left wheel.
I saw that, but the read also was to the other side. Wyeth delivered it, and he has 2 downs left in the first half.
2 down in a comfortable position for the Finest too. He's exactly where he wants to be on the field. He's within his end zone reach with pretty much every possible throw.
Absolutely.
2 plays to go. Wyeth has that chance to perhaps get this team back into this game down by minimum 3. Who knows? Here comes Wyeth. Ball looking to the left. Pumping. Left corner. Jerome can't get to that. Out of bounds.
It's a tie too high.
Tie too high. The play was there.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Jerome at the right pattern, at the right route, but the ball was not as well placed as usual.
Perhaps seeing Theo Gia sitting underneath, you need to give it a little bit extra because you know he can jump and get there.
Well, it does make you a little bit nervous too, because you know if it's not perfectly placed, that's a pick.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not going to be a PD with one hand. That's a clean pick by Theo Gia.
4th down coming up for the Finest. Kevin Moore the left slot, Ward the right wideout, looking towards the right side, going towards Guillaume Ward. Tippy
Great
toe.
Catch.
Caught. Touchdown. 15-12.
Great catch. That was absolutely beautiful. Guillaume Ward, we talked about how he can have an impact on this game. Going for a hook at the back of the end zone. Rising up. Bringing both feet in. Touchdown.
Very somehow underrated receiver. He's probably one of the best on this team.
1 or 2 point attempt here, boys.
I think they go for 1 because it's their safest thing. It's what they usually do. I'm wrong. They go for 2. I know nothing.
And with that, for Guillaume Ward this year, had 11 TDs during the regular season and a big one here late in the first half. 15-12 lead pending the extra point attempt coming up here for the Finest, who will get the ball back to start this second half. Wyeth looking to the left, cocking back, end zone through the hands of many people and now being complete. And with that, it will be a 15-12 lead at the end of the first half. D-Boys up by 3. Finest get the ball back here. Guys, who has momentum going in the second half?
100% D-Boys. This is exactly what they kind of wanted. We talked about it earlier in the show. I said this game would have more turnovers than we expected. You thought it was going to be a high-scoring affair. And to see D-Boys kind of do what they want. They only allowed 12 points by Finest in the first half. It's a dream scenario.
Yeah. That said, the dream can quickly turn to a nightmare as Montreal's Finest start with the ball. If they can force a mistake in second half, this is a game that can get out of control quickly. But
The
to
score
D-Boys'
is in their
credit,
favor.
I will agree with you. This is what D-Boys wanted. They want a close game into second half. They want to be able to drive the field with Marco Masiotra with the ball in his hands. However, we did see already some of the tempers flaring. Keyshawn Johnson getting on the field.
And there he's conversing with Jack Nudie and Walter Berry.
So to me, this is the sort of game that D-Boys wanted. The score's in their favor. They're up by 3 points. So even if Finest do score right here as they open up the second half, but they don't get a convert, D-Boys could keep that 3-point advantage going into their way and puts a difficult mark for Finest to catch up as they keep missing converts.
Yeah, it's definitely puts you behind the 8 ball a little bit. That convert to Jamal Gittins, as you talked about, was
huge.
Really big at that point in the game. It changed a little bit of how the rest of the half would play out.
Would have been the biggest play of the half until that Guillaume Moore touchdown to end.
That was a huge play.
That was a phenomenal play.
It's usually feast or famine for the Finest offense on extra point attempts here. Right now it's been famine. And you're right, though, guys. That 2-point convert for the D-Boys could be the difference in why they perhaps could win their first ever D1 winter title trophy.
It puts the pressure back on Finest's offense, but in the wrong way. We all know he's very comfortable. Kevin White is the best quarterback in Division 1. There's no doubt about it. But considering he only scored 12 points in the first half, you can't be that confident moving forward.
That's true. That's definitely true. That said, I know this group. I don't think their confidence ever wavers. So that might be entirely wrong. But I do think there's going to be a bit of a different approach from Kevin White in the second half.
I'd like to see some deep shots on the
sideline.
side.
I think he's going to be a little more aggressive.
I think he's going to open up with these famous 40 bombs on the sidelines. It's a safe throw usually because he either puts it my receiver or nobody. I think the play is there for them to take, but it's only a matter of execution. He hasn't touched it yet. He hasn't tested it yet. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see when that's going to happen.
Gentlemen, I've been asked by the powers to be at the end of the game to have one of you two good-looking people come present the trophy and MVP to the winning team.
I believe Simon Dagenet volunteered.
Yeah, Simon Dagenet volunteered, so Simon will go down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Simon, congratulations. You're going down. Thanks,
Wow.
man. All right, here we go. Second half about to get underway. 15-12 lead for the D-Boys over the Finest. A good first half for the D-Boys. They were able to control clock, which they did on the first drive, which went almost 7.5 minutes. And now the Finest will have the opening hammer. And this could be the telltale sign of if this will be a seesaw battle, maybe a D-Boys control. And here is Wyeth looking deep. Bailey open and over his head as Theo Ojea was stride for stride towards the end of that play.
Telltaling, seesaw. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the last sentence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was what we expected to see. That said, you look at the D-Boys defense. On one side, you have Theo Ojea. On the other side, you have Jourdain and Alexis. It's going to be tough to be able to attack with those sideline throws.
That's the thing. I think the D-Boys move their personnel around considering that that's the play that Kevin White loves to do. Mm-hmm. And Theo Ojea is not the right matchup to exploit on those plays.
And right now, Pat Jerome has been very quiet so far in the stats department. He goes to Ken Moore once again. Quade Johnson gets that tackle as his body was going one way and Ken Moore the other way.
The flag was going his way.
That was a dirty tackle.
Absolutely.
I would have missed that 10 times over.
You wouldn't
100 times over.
Ever.
Maybe once ever. Like
if you started there. If you were standing there at the beginning of the play, then you might have been there.
6D might have gotten that tackle.
Still no.
I mean, it's still a tackle regardless of what division it is in. Most not very good with divisions.
Facts. Third down.
Facts with Timo.
Inside 20:45 left here in this second half. Kevin Wyeth, third and about 6, and Wyeth is looking over the middle, going to the right side, caught by Ward up ahead, and Johnson with another tackle with 20:32 left.
And that's the first down on that everlasting hook again.
And I didn't think that Guillaume Ward have such a huge impact this early in the game for Finest, but he's been the one guy who's been consistently open on almost every play.
I think that's a 6 or 7 hook for 5 or 6 yards. It's there all the time. But you have to respect the fact that Gilmore could blaze right past you for 41.
Well, we're not seeing that
back in the end zone like we saw at the end of the first half.
We've yet to see a big play in terms of the deep balls from the Finest offense. They've just taken what's been given to them. So, with 19:55 left here, Wyeth pumping right, short pass, Lariviere, and around he goes. Johnson and tackled by Jourdain Alexis for enough for a first down, as they now will get close towards the end zone.
I do like that sort of variation on the triple slants, but they ran the 2 slants to the right side and then an out with a slant under from the wide. Something a little bit different from Kevin Wyeth. We'll see if at any point he looks back to hit that in-breaking route from the third read.
I think they need to start mixing it up a little bit. We saw in the first half their offense is not exactly as dominant as it usually is, so we might see him be a bit more creative with his offense to sort of spark back the Finest offense.
19:20 left here. First and goal for the Finest offense. Matt Kerouac had a great first half with a sack and PD. Quick pass, Lariviere through and backhands his way through for the touchdown. 18-15 with 19:06 left.
We talked about Quade Johnson making that ridiculous tackle on the sideline. They're missing the flag on Brian Lariviere as he moonwalked for a touchdown.
Twice now.
Let's not forget, last winter, Brian Lariviere had that big second half. Where remember, he only had 1 catch in the first half, had 3 touchdowns in the second half. And he could be that difference maker now with that early touchdown.
It seems to be that when Kevin Wyeth's offense isn't working the way he'd like it to, the guy he does rely on is Brian Lariviere.
Snappers usually gets a big impact in the second half.
It's so hard to cover, and it's especially hard to cover when it's Brian Lariviere, of course.
18:32 left here. Now a 2-point convert to perhaps go by 5. Wyeth going to the right middle, caught by Lariviere through the 2 D-boy defenders. And with that, 20-15 with 18:22 left, 5-point lead.
That's a big boy catch.
That was a big drive by Montreal's Finest. The drive down the field, do whatever you wanted, score, get 2 points, 8-point drive in 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's a impressive drive all put together. You go on the bench, you get the sip of water, and you think that, okay, I could do whatever I want with these guys now.
Yeah, definitely more at ease Kevin Wyeth was in the second half than it was in the first.
Inside 18. And here's Masiocha's first attempt in the second half. Quick pass to Giddens down the left side, and he's tackled by Keyshawn Thompson and Gary Taylor there for help. Second and about 5 coming up.
These offenses might not be scoring as much as we thought, as much as you thought they would, but they're still, both offenses are looking very confident that they're able to drive the field and march the field, score, and do basically whatever they want.
Well, I think that's a credit to Marco Masiocha and the D-Boys offense. They're actually controlling the pace of the game, and this is the pace of the game that they want, because it'll be 1-score game at the end, and it's up to them, and they'll be in control of their own destiny.
Masiocha looking left again, deeper this time to Quade Johnson, and he cannot get around Lewis Parrish, and that'll be a third down coming up here, which will make it about 3rd and 1-ish or so.
So the bench is the D-Boys bench is telling Quade Johnson to go upfield. In fact, he stepped back to try to spin away from the tackle, and they lost that first down that they could have had. So instead of having a first down, they have a 3rd and 2.
Yeah, it's a strange decision.
That puts them in a tough position that it's not. It's fine, but it's not optimal.
And Marco Masiocha is not really the fastest player out there. Looking to the Warriors to the right. Theo J, too easy for him as Bogdanovich gets the tackle. Will be a 6-yard gain, enough for a first down with 16:35 left.
It's so amazing that everyone in the world knows where that ball's going, and it doesn't matter because Theo J is still able to get the separation and make it an easy throw for Marco Masiocha.
You don't know what he's going to run. You know that he's going to get the ball, but
you know more or less where he'll be. More or less the ball will be there, but you don't know how the events will transpire to allow him to be in that spot.
The D-boys have been so famous for their deep dig ends by Theo J. Now he's using those smash outs to really fool everybody.
Masiocha looking left, going towards the short side, and caught by Giddens, tackled by Garrett Taylor. That might be a flag, which will add on a few more yards.
That's a good flag by our referee to call the holding on him. He actually made Jamal Giddens spin instead of actually tackling him. That's a technical holding, although he wasn't really,
Here's a replay right
it's
here.
It's one of those holds that's not commonly called. We see the flag come off almost right away.
He made him turn. Yeah. And then he couldn't move, and then the flags came off.
He impeded his progress, essentially.
If that's I'm not saying it's not a hold. I'm saying it often, because the flag comes off a moment later, will be forgiven by referees. But this is the finals. You don't want to.
If that's not a holding, what is?
Other things.
Well, watch out for Antonio Lanni. This is his bread and butter area. Masiocha looking left, short pass to Gittins, and he's tackled by Garrett Taylor. Enough for a first down, 15-19 left.
So I love how he tackled him through the flags to the ground and just kicked him further.
Yeah.
No, I'm not picking it up. Someone else will.
Marco Masiocha being able to make that throw to Chris Miard in his face, it looked from here anyway as though the ball might have gone through his arms. Just an absolutely great throw on that play.
Inside 15 left. First and goal now for the D-Boys offense. Down by 5. Masiocha again rolling to the right. Ajay open short, coming through, galloping up ahead, and he's tackled by Bogdanovich for a 3-yard gain.
Ajay was not even covered on that short hook there. The thing is, if you allow him to catch the ball and then try to tackle him, we've seen it in his Division 3 game, how crazy elusive he could be. Don't allow him, don't give him that chance, tackle him right away. So that's a risky decision by finance, but they know things that we don't because we don't play the one.
That's true, and then the D-Boys here, this has been a part of the field that they've been able to attack effectively. We saw the catch at the end of the first half by Theo J coming back to the cone. We'll see which side of the field Marco Masiocha wants to attack
14-13 left. Masiocha pressured Millard, and that's the first time we've mentioned Chris Millard's name in pressuring Marco Masiocha, as it felt like he was panicked, Marco, on the throw towards the end zone.
He has been getting a little bit closer on this drive. He's been inching closer and closer. The reads are taking a little bit longer to develop, and I think we'll start to see him in the face of Marco Masiocha for the rest of this game.
I think that pass was intended for Anthony Como in the back of the end zone, but you saw that play from Jamal Giddens that he knew that if he could put a hand on the ball, he should, because he doesn't know who's behind him. Is it DB? Is it the receiver?
Especially with how late in the route
Take
that was.
no chances, bat that one down, play for another down.
13:33 left. Second and goal. Bouncing towards the left, caught, incomplete. Intended for Antonio Lanni, flagging the play, as that will be called in favor of D-Boys.
So you see the Montreal fans complaining about these calls, but at the end of the day, the referees are right. If you're not playing the ball and you have both hands on his hips and you bring him down with you, that should not.
The key is
it's not flag football.
You're spinning receivers. That's where it gets difficult. That's where it becomes obvious to the ref.
If your hands are grabbing
something. Here's the replay, guys, right here. Yeah. Here's the first replay. So it's illegal contact. I'd love to see the webcam field angle if we get a better angle from that position.
If your hands are grabbing something and it's not a football, you're doing it wrong.
And here we go. This might give us a better view of what went down. So there's Keyshawn and there's Lanni, and the call has been made. 12:35 left here. Back to live action we go. Masiocha looking to the left side. He's got a man, and Garrett Taylor cannot beat Quade Johnson for the touchdown.
Ooh, that's a big boy play right there. Garrett Taylor made a perfect read on that play. Jumped right in front of Quade. Was able to make the break on the ball, but he was wrestled out, and that ended up being a touchdown on, again, that comeback. Right?
Come back to the code.
21-20.
It's so difficult to defend, but Garrett Taylor played it perfectly. Yeah. But the ball was basically wrestled out of his hands, and what could have been a game-changing interception ended up being a touchdown for D-Boys.
It's one of the things too where the ball is placed low, so the receiver still has a chance to get to it, even if the defender does make a break.
Because if you're falling down, you could still use your hands to kind of
reach
wrestle the
out.
ball out. But if it's too high, you're already out of the play.
And now a whistle.
As children have approached the field.
Children and soccer balls coming out here, so.
Two of the worst things.
Yes, imagine
soccer.
Keyshawn Thompson.
Well, the potential injury to children and soccer.
Masiocha for the 2-pointer. And Parrish is right there, and he could have returned that back for maybe a 2-pointer in the lead.
It would have been tough because his whole momentum was heading to the sideline.
He barely tried to stay in, but Jermaine Parrish ran the pattern for Anthony Como, who sort of stopped instead of keep going to the cone. It's not the pattern that we usually see from Anthony Como, as he's being used a bit more deeper than just slinting underneath.
Just the back of the end zone, yeah.
And in games like these, it's difficult to sort of get that chemistry going when it's not something you usually do.
Well, like you said at the beginning of the game, the D-boys needed to come in with a different mindset.
Wyeth looking right, and he goes over to Lariviere, and he will get about 6 or 7 yards on that play.
Again, like we discussed, Brian Lariviere is going to have a monster second half. He's so difficult to cover. The way these patterns are ran makes it so that Montreal's Finest's offense is almost impossible. The snapper's almost impossible to stop. As long as he doesn't drop those balls, they keep coming that hot. What do you want to do?
Yeah, he's going to use his body to box out, and unless you really see it coming and are able to undercut it, but it's still difficult with the speed at which the ball comes out of Kevin Wyatt's hand.
10:30 left here in the second half. Laviere's had 4 catches so far in this second portion of this game. Quick play, 5th catch, up ahead he goes, spin move, and he's tackled for a first down by Marco Masiocha with 10:16 left.
The craziest thing about these plays is the receiver's covered.
Yeah.
But the ball placement is so flawless that if the receiver's on one side, the ball's going to the other. Regardless of what that side is.
It's the read is not even like what's open in the defense. It's which part of the body do I throw to?
Yeah, it's where's the DB?
Yeah.
I'm throwing to the other hip. But that's phenomenal.
Inside 10 of this ball game. Wyeth taking his time, as now it's a 1-point lead for the D-boys. 21-20 lead. Looking towards the right, quick catch by Lariviere, and he's tackled by Quay Johnson, and that'll be very close to it. First down. They'll be second and short coming up.
I mean, I don't know what to say at this point. He's not covered. He's
not coverable in any case.
Not coverable, yeah. The guys are right there, but he's open. And if he's not open, he's still catching it.
It gets to this point in the game where it's like, okay, you want me to say the same thing again? Right, yeah, Brian Lariviere, good, uncoverable, same thing, same play.
You want to bet? Is he going to catch a touchdown?
Yeah, no.
You won't?
Fine, okay, he won't have the touchdown. Pitcher, that's the bet.
Solid.
Finest can still get a first down now with 9:10 left in this ball game. Kirak, he's interfered, no call. Wyeth looking open, and that is volleyballed up in the air, and a flag will fly and come out. This might be rusher interference.
A late flag that appears to be against the D-boys, but we'll know more soon.
You were worried there for a second when you saw the pitch room open. You thought you were buying me a pitcher.
Like, man, it's going to cost me beer.
Adult beverages.
Sorry.
Kool-Aid.
In this case, the adult beverage is beer.
Liquid. Or golden.
Oh, it's going against D-boys.
That's what we thought. I thought it was a holding or
illegal contact, which gives them a first down, which basically doesn't change much.
If we get the opening start of this play, Matt Kirak thought he was interfered on the rusher contact, but that was never called.
When the flag got thrown in, it was impossible, however.
Wyeth looking over the middle, pumping. Lariviere.
Beer!
God damn it.
Adult beverages
that ball
for
in.
me.
26-21, and now there's no question, guys. You go for the 2-point convert to perhaps go up by 7.
Yes, well, if you go for 1, you're going to lead up by 6, and then you put the edge for what? They're going for 1. You know nothing, Mokan, either.
Well, the thing is, guys, are you surprised by that, though? Wouldn't you not go for
honestly, every time we've said they're going for 1, they're going for 2. Every time we say they're going for 2, they're going for 1. Everything surprises me at this point in this game.
I'm super confused.
And with that, they will go for 1 instead. So a 5-point lead could end up being a 6-point lead with 7:45 left. Again, more the right slot, Johnson on him. Looking towards the left. Jerome, 6-point lead for the Finest.
Beautiful pattern by Pat Jerome. The ball placement was flawless. It's a sort of play you just cannot defend due to how D-boys played their defensive scheme. They just couldn't stop that.
And I believe they might be conversing on that play. We'll get a replay on that if that's a clear catch for the extra point from our sideline cam. And here we go again. This might be our best view from where the ball was caught, and it is indeed. Both feet in.
To me, there's no argument. That's a clean catch, as clean as it gets. Yeah. There's 3 feet there. Three steps.
2 of them belong to Pat Jerome.
And with 7:16 left here, ball back in Marco Masiocci's hand. Looking towards left, pumping deep. Almost picked off by Jermaine Lewis-Parrish as he fooled Marco Masiocci as the pass was intended for Quade Johnson.
We said that was open early on. Finest found a way to adjust, and Jermaine Parrish made a huge break on that ball.
I think Jermaine didn't expect him to be able to touch that ball with his hands. The ball kind of floated down and kind of crashed into his hand. I thought he wanted to screen it more than actually catch it, and he's frustrated that he didn't go with two hands.
2nd and 10 with 6:45 left. Masiocci one step in the end zone. High snap, looking towards the deep right, and he's got Ojea, and he puts his arms up in the air, a little bit perplexed on that throw.
To your point, Mokan, you noticed that Marco Masiocci started a little bit deeper on that play, 1 foot in the end zone. You knew the ball was going to go deep. Finest did a good job of defending it. Marco, however, just putting it towards the sideline, trying to be a little safe.
Tiro Ojea ran a very good route. He was open, but the ball actually went to Guillaume Ward on the sideline.
But do you think Marco was actually trying to throw it? I thought he was just trying to discard it. He didn't really see Theo open.
I think by the time he had to release the ball, the read wasn't what he wanted, so he sort of discarded it, and afterwards he regretted seeing Theo.
Seeing how open he was, yeah.
3rd and 10 with 6 to go in this ball game. Jamal Giddens has been that guy who Como has also over the middle. And he'll look left, walking, cocking, Giddens, left corner. Jermaine Lewis-Parrish, interception.
He got the interception this time.
That was a beautiful interception by Jermaine, who was able to sort of outbeat Jamal Giddens to that point and get the ball inbounds.
And you wonder, perhaps, for the D-boys' sake, with 5:34 left here, do they want to challenge and see if he got both feet in?
Essentially, I think Jamal Giddens
was
right
replay,
there,
guys.
believes he was out of bounds.
Replay is right there. Possession, both feet in.
Yeah, that's a clean
Yeah.
play.
And that's a clean play.
That's a clean play.
Kevin White hurrying his defense off so he can get his offense back on.
I think he just doesn't want to get flagged for excessive celebration.
Yeah, and they may have been because it was bench clearing. Haven't seen that in a while.
Well, everyone, including the alumni, came on the field to celebrate that INT with
Mokan, you didn't run
5:06.
down. You're part of the alumni.
You're
I
the alumni. Mokan.
thought you
I'm
would've
up
been
here
there.
I'm here with this Montreal's finest team over here.
Yeah,
you
there
know?
we go. The finest.
So
Montreal's finest.
if Montreal's finest win, does Mokan do the interview?
No, that's on you, Simon.
No, that's
signed
on
up.
you.
You volunteered.
You volunteered, Simon. You nominated yourself, and we said yes, Simon Dagenet.
We'll use the democratic process. Mokan, do you vote Simon Dagenet?
I do.
I do as well.
Thank you. All right, 4:45 left here. 2nd and 6. Long pass up ahead. Guillaume Ward, tippy toes, and that'll be enough for a first down with 4:38 left. And gentlemen, if you're the finalists, you want to slow the pace down or really put the clamps on the clock?
I think you need to score. That's all that matters at this point. Regardless of how quickly you do it, if finance to score, they put so much pressure back on D-boys, and they allow their the offense to have that sort of wiggle room afterwards. So I wouldn't say time is an essence, as long as they score, regardless of sure, if you can milk the clock, it's better.
Yeah.
But scoring is what's truly important here.
What do D-boys need to do to force an error?
They need to switch their coverage a little bit and jump routes.
And perhaps Matt Kirak might have to be the turning force here with 4:02 left in this ball game. Wyeth looking towards the right, going deep for the killer shot. Incomplete, intended for Guillaume Ward. And again, we talk about maybe this being the last 4 minutes or less of the finest franchise. There's that talk of them maybe this their last game for a while. But for the D-boys, they want to be ultimate party spoilers by winning this ball game.
So this is the sort of play we expected early on. At some point, he's going to take that shot to Guillaume Ward on the sidelines.
But how surprised are you that this is a D1 championship game, and we haven't seen a deep ball completed really by either two sides?
I think it just speaks volume of how strong these safeties and corners actually are. They're not giving that up. They're giving away. They're giving away the 5-yard hook, so they don't allow the 40 bombs.
3:19 left. Wyeth looking towards the left. Jerome, big catch, and that'll be close to a first down with 3:10 left.
This is the sort of game where we see the defense sort of gives up these kind of plays so they don't get burnt deep.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that they don't get burnt deep. It makes it a slower, grindier game, but it's a sort of game that shows that how impressively good both these quarterbacks actually are.
It's amazing to see just the size of Jerome, and Brian Lariviere, and Kedmore in the middle, and you know that's the part of the field that they're attacking.
And now, I beg your pardon here, Jamal Giddens being subbed off for Antonio Lanning, who's lined up against Pat Jerome. We'll see if that's an injury or not. Quick pass, Lariviere, and tackled by Quade Johnson for another first down with 2:32 left here. And you wonder now for D-boys, timeouts might have to be exercised.
Yeah, Jamal Giddens seems to be grimacing a little on the sideline.
There's your timeout, Mokan. Appears that every time you say that, they do take it. I think Jamal Giddens just needed a break. I don't think he's injured. I think he's been playing both ways, and they've been running these deep patterns. He needs at least a second. He needs a breather.
And like I said, you look at just the sheer size of the three guys in the middle. They're hard to cover. Montreal's finest team is truly built to be able to milk the clock and take away opportunities, and that's what they're doing.
Consider the situation. He did play 2 hours ago in Division 3 game, full both ways. Now he has to play full both again. It takes a toll on your body, and you need that breather. And they have that ability with Antonio Lani. He's able to switch in and out for guys, which helps D-Boy's defense.
And now with 2:31 left, a new first down, and Kevin Wyeth at the controls, as he will look to guide this play in for victory lane with 2:31 left. And he looks to the left side. Quick pass. Jerome will scoop that ball, and he's tackled by Theo J with 2:25 left.
This time they all jumped underneath. Still perfect ball placement, made it impossible to defend. They did switch. They put Alexi and Theo J on the same side, but Kevin Wyeth just a great throw once again.
2:10 left.
They're just trying to mix things up. They need a spark. They need something to happen. If they don't make a stop, they lose this game.
Yep.
2 to go here. Simon Dagenet, PC Delarizi, the last game of the winter season, as we will crown either the finals or D-Boys. And right now the finals are up by 6 with 1:55 left here. Can the D-Boys force a turnover? Wyeth slicing, caught, Bailey, touchdown. 1:45 away from their winter title once again.
Beautiful route by Adam Bailey the whole way. He was covered. Jordan XC was right on top of him. But to see what they were able to do in the way of the coverage, Adam Bailey made a remarkable play. It shows how good of a receiver he is. And now Finest are in control of this game.
1:40 left. 33-21 lead. And now the sense upon everyone here at Brossard, Quebec is that this could very well be another winter title for the Finest.
Yeah, it looks that way, although with all the time coming off the clock here, D-Boys look to be a little bit dejected. Just that's exactly what Montreal's Finest wanted to do in this game, and in this stage of the game here. Essentially all but over at this point.
1:40 left. And here we go. It is Kevin Wyeth time, 2-point convert to perhaps go up by 14. Wyeth right side. Lariviere may have earned himself an MVP with that 2-point convert. 35-21 lead.
I think it's going to come down to how this next drive goes on. If German's able to get another interception, but I really like the impact Brian Lariviere has had on offense. He really moved. It's underrated how he's able to move the chains, but in the second half, it's been the Brian Lariviere show.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Kevin Wyeth's a good quarterback, don't get me wrong, but he's also the reason why he was so successful.
1:08 left, 14-point lead. Marco Massiotto will have to work urgently. He avoids Miard, and away he goes down the left side. And he will not get around Keyshawn Thompson. And again, that is not Marco's strength, running the football. And
well, I mean, he's not bad.
How many times has he rushed the ball this year?
But he doesn't.
But it's not what he
doesn't mean he can't do it.
That's not what D-Boys do, but that doesn't mean he's not good at it.
Yeah, he's a fantastic athlete.
He
can make a play if he needs to. But he needs to score like now.
He's got 40 seconds to score, essentially.
Yeah,
if they go to 5 plays, the game's over.
34 seconds left here. Massiotto has to go to the end zone. He'll go to Theo Jea, and he's brought down by Ali Baghdad.
Hurry up. They seem so lackluster.
But they also need the energy to run patterns.
No.
Think about it right now, right? Marco Massiotto, Theo Jea, they've both played heavy taxing games earlier today.
As did Antonio Lani, as did Jamal Gittins. None of the finalists really had a game before.
It's true.
All of D-Boys seem to have played before.
They need to score now before 5. Gittins! Tackled by Keyshawn Thompson at the 2.
Tackle by Keyshawn Thompson, but they need to take a timeout.
And now 5 plays.
With 5 plays, this game is officially over.
And now for the finals, it's a matter of making sure they don't score.
No, it's irrelevant. Even if they score on this play,
but for them, it's a pride thing. They don't want to give up that touchdown.
Unless they allow a stupid penalty to push them back within 10 yards.
Yeah. So, are you baiting a penalty if you're D-Boys at the score?
You have to, right? I mean, that's your only call right now.
And hope that something good happens?
Yeah.
Timeout called.
But it doesn't.
With that, and gentlemen, we talk about this maybe being the last Div 1 game for the finest. If this is it, what a way to go out.
What if so the D-Boys hadn't used their challenge, had they?
No, I don't.
So what if they would have challenged, lined up, So the clock stops you.
Use
The
the challenge as a timeout.
Run a play right away. You use the challenge as a fake timeout.
You give Jim DeFazio motivation to get in the finals.
Challenge since we can't challenge the spot.
Catch. See, it wasn't a catch.
Or where he landed, right? So there you go.
Yeah, he was in the end zone.
Yeah, but we can't challenge the spot. So
you're challenging whether it's a touchdown.
And another whistle here, and early snap from Anthony Como. And
this finals bench has been too wild. That's all I'll say.
I mean,
let's stop there.
Too wild or just the right amount of wild? Give it a amount of wild.
That would be a great penalty. So they score, they take a stupid penalty. Now they have to play the last 4 plays.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're D-boys, you score and you get in everyone's face trying to bait a penalty. I mean, I'm not advocating it, but I totally am.
Masiocha pressured, open, a touchdown.
She's like, come on, get in someone's face.
Say something
Say
stupid.
Something. No, I don't think we'll see it.
And Marco Masiocha realizes this is all but over now.
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
So now the convert, you get in someone's face.
But yes, because if they would have done it before, that would have been terrible. That wouldn't work.
Smarter. That's why they're in D1 and we're not.
We know nothing. We've seen that all game today. Every time we call something, we're wrong.
I would complain like, look, Wyatt's foot's on the field. You know what I mean? So.
7 men.
7 men, right there.
And now a formality to finish off this game here for the D-boys.
No, we have another scenario. We'll go ahead.
We're kidding the other scenario.
Ojea, second quarterback. Kareem Bennett.
Ooh, dirty.
As he avoids him, and he'll go to the end zone, and that is incomplete. No flag on the call.
Oh, what do you want to flag him for? That's clean.
And now the Finals are in 7th heaven. Their 7th Division I winter title.
7. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And
what's going on? There's a lot of screaming behind us.
Lots of screaming. We don't know what's going on. It's louder out in the booth than it is on the field with the Finest.
To be honest, at halftime, I was really thinking that the boys had this game under control. They were doing what they wanted, but Finest came with a game plan in the second half, scored 23 points in the second half to really turn this game around and put it in their favor. And we saw how good that offense really is. And
that interception by Jermaine Parrish, does that maybe get him the MVP of this game?
It didn't get an interception.
Yeah, he made the interception.
Oh, it's one interception. I thought you meant his other interception.
No.
I think it was a key factor. It really changed the tide of the game. That was a game-changing play, in my opinion. But throughout the game, the most valuable player had to be Brian Latvia for his impact on this game. We didn't even know how to describe it at some point. We're like, well, you know.
Well, it was like color commentary on the 7th time in a row he catches the ball, got nothing.
He's I would say that the most valuable player was Brian Latvia, but the game-changing play, the X factor was Germany's
Gentlemen, let's go to Robert Campana now with the trophy presentation. Robert, as he now will get things organized. Rob not doing a good job of organizing.
Well, I mean, there's only so much we do.
Rob, take it away.
Maybe use the microphone.
Yes.
So it would help us.
All right, I got the thumbs up from the booth. So I'm here, the same old song and dance. As we say every year, I give them the same old lame joke. Montreal's finest, D-boys. Great championship game, came down to the very end. But I'm happy to announce that the Montreal's finest have maintained their spot at the top of the hill. So I present the Winter 2018 Division I Championship to the captain, Keyshawn Thompson, Montreal's finest.
That's not Keyshawn Thompson, Rob Cabana.
I don't know if you read the jersey or not.
Oh, shit. All right, they just broke the Division I trophy, so clearly we're taking it back. All right, one last thing to present. We always like to do something different and give it to someone like an underdog, so we're happy to do that this season. Finals MVP, Kevin Wyeth. We try really hard not to give it to him.
I disagree with this.
All right.
Guys, Rich has some T-shirts for you to hand out there. Kev, if I can just get you for a quick sec. Kevin. Here, guys, you can come in too. All right, Chris has got us here. Yeah. So I'm here with Kevin. Another championship, another finals MVP. Does it ever become boring for you, Kev?
No, it's always fun. It's good to win. I love to win. I love making these guys happy. My kids got to see me win today, so.
And And a quick, absolutely, you can show Tony. And another quick question, Kev. So the game started off a little tight, just like last year, similarly less interceptions, but obviously a defensive struggle. How did you feel heading into the half with such a low-scoring game? Is that something you like or prefer a high-scoring shootout?
Not really that I like, but I was nervous the whole game. That first stop had me a bit more jittery, but my defense pulled through, got me that pick, and that's all she wrote.
Great job. Thanks a lot, Kev. Great season.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys.
All right. I don't know what was more enjoyable, Rob's botch of the trophy presentation or the trophy presentation itself.
I prefer the oh shit.
Yeah, that was up there as well. That's the highlight of the night. All right, Simone, let's wrap it up here. Look, the talk has been that this could be the Finals' last game. Who knows what they will do for spring or next winter, but 7th Division I championship in their
If this was their last game, this is probably one of the best way to go out.
Well, yeah, you go up on top.
But it's not just you got on top. There was a lot of questions about whether or not they haven't been tested in the playoffs, whether or not D-Boys had the right game plan to play. And going into halftime, we all said that D-Boys really had that game under control in some way, and then Finals just really took that second half away.
Yeah.
And by the time it ran down to 5 minutes, we knew this was Finals' game.
Turning point in this game here, Simon, was there anything that really caught your attention? That was the Lewis Parrish INT?
The game-changing play to me was that interception, obviously, but the fact that Brandon Lacroix was essentially unstoppable offensively really allowed Montreal's Finest to grind the clock, score.
Yeah.
They had a drive where Brandon Lacroix had every single catches.
Right.
So to see something like that really takes a toll on the defense, saying we can't even stop this guy. So how are we supposed to keep up with this team if we can't stop one of their players?
Well, for the D-Boys, another empty trip for a trophy. Does this really weigh on their mind? I know they don't care at the end of the day, but so much talent they have going through the pores of their skin, but yet they come up short once again.
It's tough because now every season you line up, you hope that you'll make this trip to the finals to play the finest and beat them on their turf, and you don't. I'm proud of D-Boys to say that they made the finals. It's one thing to play in Div 1 and be able to make the finals, but it kind of sucks that you don't win.
Well, Simon, on behalf of everyone here, a big thank you to Rob Campana, Alex Eagle Dakla, the entire production team here. Simon, congratulations to you on a great job. Peasy as well, who pretty much was the voice for the last day and a half of broadcasting. But I want to thank everybody who tuned into all the FPF final broadcasts in the last 2 days as we wrap it up with the finals of winning their 7th Division I winter title, and now we look forward to the spring season. So without further ado, we wish you a good evening. We'll see you May 13th for the spring season 2018, and we'll bring you many more broadcasts and podcasts throughout the course of the next 4 or 5 months in the spring, summer months. We'll see you in a month's time. Congratulations, Finest. Bye for now.